Okay, today's assignment. To get a packet here, okay. You're going to figure out what's called greatest common factor, okay. So let's say this. So you see how you got them into rows going across? So like you see how, like, for example, 40's in 10's row, so then 10 is a factor of 40, okay? And let's say like 35 and 5, so 5 would be a factor of 35. Now what you're going to have is two numbers, and you need to figure out what the greatest common factor is. That means they have to be in the same row. It's the furthest row down, okay? Now, this says 4 times x to the third, 12 times x to the second. Just focus on the 4 and the 12 first. Now, greatest common factor, you're going to abbreviate that with the initials GCF, okay? So 4 and 12. Look at 4 smaller, right? So I go up the chart. I work from bottom up, and I'm going to look for 4, okay? The smaller number first. So there's a 4 for the first time when I'm going bottom up. Now in that row, going across, do I see 12? Yes, I do. So 4 and 12 are in the 4th row. So that means 4 is a factor of 4 and 12. Now 4 and 12 are also in the 2nd row, but we want to go with the furthest row down. So 4 and 12 are in the 4th row, so 4 is a factor of 4 and 12. So 4 would be the greatest common factor. Now here's how you do x's. You have x to the third and x to the second. So x to the third means x times x times x. X to the second means x times x. Okay? Now you circle the x's in pairs from top to bottom. So that's 1 pair, 2 pairs. This x here is crossed out. So how many x's is that? How many pairs how many circles do I have? I have 2. So it's 4 times x to the second. That's your GCF. Okay, 16 times x to the second, 20 times x. Okay, you can put a 1 on that. So 16 and 20. So I go from bottom up, I'm looking for 16. So there's 16, but no 20. Okay. There's 16 and no 20. There's 16 and 20, both in the 4th row, okay? So the GCF, again, would be 4, okay? Because, again, bottom up, there's a 16 and a 20, so it would be in 4's row. Now, x is second, x is first, so it would be x times x, and then x. Okay, so you're going to circle your x. You can only get 1 pair. You just made 1 circle, so it's 4 times x to the first. Okay, 8 times x to the 4th, 32 times x to the 5th. So 8 and 32. Okay. So there's 8, and there's a 32. So it'd be 8. 8 is the greatest common factor of 8 and 32. 8. They are together in other rows, but the 8 is the furthest one down. So 8 and 32. 8. So x to the 4th and x to the 5th. So x to the 4th is x times x times x times x. X to the 5th is x times x times x times x times x. So you circle up and down in pairs. There's 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pair, 4 pair. So there's 4 pair. So 8 times x to the 4th. Okay, we got 5 times x to the 4th. And 3 times x to the second. So 5 and 3 we're looking for first, okay? So 3 smaller, so I'm looking for 3. Where are you at? No, there's no 3. Okay, there's 3, but there's no 5. Nope, there's a 3 and there's a 5, so they're both in the 1st row. So it's 1, x 4th, and x 2nd. Now be careful here. X to the 4th is x times x times x times x. X to the 2nd is x times x. So I have 1 pair, 2 pairs. You cannot circle those, okay? They're in the same row. You can only circle this way. You can't go like that. So these are crossed out, so that's 2 pairs. So 1 times x to the 2nd. So you got to be careful on that. Just because you see two X's there doesn't mean they get circled. They have to go from here to here. Okay, 20 times x to the second, 30 times x, okay? So GCF, you're looking at 20 and 30, okay? So 20, no 30, okay? So there's 20 again with 30, so it'd be 10, okay? So x2, x1. Now, maybe it'll help to make a line. I don't know. Maybe make a line. So x to the second's x times x. Then x to the first is just x. So then one pair. That's all you can get. So you put x to the first because it's just one circle. You count how many circles there are. Okay, 8 and 24. So 8 times x to the third, 24 times x to the second. So focus on your 8 and your 24. Okay? So let's find up the chart just like this. There's 8 and there's 24, both in the row 8. Now they are also both in the row 4, but they have to be in the greatest common factor. It means the biggest row. Okay? So 8 and 24 in the 8th row. Okay, see, 8 and 24 are factors of, 8 is a factor of 8 and 24. 4 is also a factor of 8 and 24, but 8 would be the greatest. Okay, that's why you go bottom up. Now, x third, x second. So x to the third means x times x times x, x second, x times x. So you circle them in pairs. 1, 2, he's left out. So it'd be 8x times x to the second. Okay, we got 9 times x to the fourth, 16 times x to the second. Okay. Okay, so 9 and 16. So you find your, there's 9 but no 16. There's 9, no 16. There's a 9, there's a 16, both in row 1. Okay. So x to the fourth is x times x times x times x. X to the second is x times x. 1, 2. You do not circle those, okay? They have to go in up and down. So that's 2 pairs, 1 times x to the second. Okay, last one, 25 and 30. Okay, 25 times x to the second, 30 times x to the first. Okay, so 25 and 30. Well, there's 25 right there, but 30 is not in that row. So 25 is a factor of 25, but it's not a factor of 30. Okay? Find 25, no. Well, there's 25 and there's 30, so that would be 5. Okay? So 5. X times x, x. Okay. So, right there. So it's 1 pair. So times x to the first.